Welcome to the Trading Lounge and the Day Ahead Report, and here we're looking at the S&P 500, and yesterday we were looking at all the indices, American and European indices, in their structure to the downside, and we were looking at 5 waves to the downside because we had this strong impulse wave down, and we were about here yesterday, so we were looking for a wave 4 bounce and then wave 5 to come down and complete. Now that wave 5 down there looks reasonably complete, and we can expect a bounce off here. So what we can expect is the market to move back up and test the supply area through here. So just drilling down into this little wave structure here, as such here. So we're looking at the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th here. It doesn't look like this is actually completed just yet because it should be down for 1 to here, back for 2 to here, and the 3rd wave down to here, and the 4th wave back through to here. So a bit of short covering going on here, sort of forcing that back up, unless I need to pull that apart and have a look if that's actually completed, but it doesn't appear to be. But certainly, splitting hairs, and the whole structure down is pretty much completed. With the Dow Jones here as well, just looking back in the bigger picture and flicking between the Dow and the S&P 500, is that I still sort of consider this a corrective wave to the downside, and as a wave 4, and the wave 4 would be a 38.2 retracement level from this wave 2 here, so from this section here. It comes pretty close to the 38.2 retracement level at 13,200 there, so that's okay. It's still in the trend channel, so let's just see how that goes. But what I'm a little bit unsure of, you can see this at the moment is like an A and a B and a C here, 3-wave structure, but that must be the sort of end of it here. It could get a bit more complicated where we get 3 waves up through here and then another 5 down through here as well. So it's just there's a little bit of unknown in here that we need to deal with as such. So with the US markets here, the same with the Dow. It's the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 here. So that low can be in place there now. I just thought that it would come down a bit further because it just didn't look like it was finished. But what I think we need to do now is just have a look at what type of structure comes up through here. And if we do get a 5-wave structure up here, then we'll get 3 back, and then we'll get another 5. How far that comes, the move up through here, this is where all the volume was turned over. So this is where the first resistance is going to be, and of course the second resistance is back up through here. So we just need to see what structure this is going to develop here in terms of 3 waves or 5 waves. If it's 3 waves, then we'll be seeing new lows being made as well. So if this is a corrective move up, then we'll see new lows. As long as this maintains a series of impulse waves to the upside, then we'll see this low come in through here. But this low coming in through here will obviously give support to the Australian market as well, coming into this area here, which is important really, because then it stops us having overlapping wave structures with wave 1 through here, because we're still very bullish on the Australian market. It's just that if we do get overlapping wave structures, well, then we've got to stop and consider that the larger correction across the 4,500 here is simply not complete, and we would have to consider this as the first high above the level, and then just quite simply a larger correction unfolding across here, which doesn't make it sort of easy trading for the robo or on the ASX or any other situation trading the SPY here as such, or looking for trends as such. So let's just see how that develops. So in terms of support, yes, we know that the support at the 4,500, and with the Dow finding its low, so we should see some support come through here. We need to see the US dollar index start having resistance at the 80 as well, but support support on the 45.30 here would give it its first step of being positive. If it can't find support on there, and that means that it can trade above that, but the retest is more important than the breakout above. So the retest coming back down needs to find support, and it may even, push up through here above the 30 and then come back and retest the 20 and then, wingle over and take its time and eventually find support there. But if it does find support there, that's its first positive step to the upside. If it doesn't find support there, then it basically belongs to the 4500 here. And it's also very difficult to trade in the group 1 here as well, because it just gets, there's always a lot of bouncing between 10, 20 and 30. So you just got to be, you got to get in there close and scalp, or you just stand back. You can't kind of do both as such. Alrighty, let's have a look at commodities. They are still softer because the US dollar is pushing higher. We'll look at this in more detail a bit later on. We'll look at the Forex, but the US dollar index here is having trouble at the 72 here, or subgroup 2 here, the 65, 72 and the 80. So we will see, support come in on other markets, commodities, currencies, indices, so forth. But it is expected to push higher to complete a little 5-wave structure that we're looking at through here. So so it's still got to come higher through here, which will place pressure on the other market. So the copper market here, basically we were counting it in a positive move to the upside here, and an impulse wave to the upside, and it remains in a positive wave to the upside. But if it starts to break out of this trend channel through here, then it's going to create overlapping wave structures with the old highs here. And if it does that, it just simply means that we've got this as a large corrective pattern, and as a corrective pattern, eventually this low would be taken out through here. So we'd be looking back down at 300 for this. This pattern would be an A wave and a B wave and a C wave as a corrective rally. If we get these overlapping wave structures, it's not there yet, but we do need to see this move up from a move below this high here. So 356 would be a dangerous point for that. The terms of the corrective pattern, it may not just come straight down through here. It can take a series of other corrective moves in terms of this would just be this A, B, C here could just be the A wave, and then we get 3 waves down for the B wave, and then we get 5 waves up for the C wave, and then we drop down as well. But what it does do for us is it enables us to understand that it is a corrective pattern to the upside and a corrective rally, and not an impulse wave. So it does give us something to work with, which is helpful. But yeah, let's just see if the US dollar index stops in its tracks at the 80 and reverses from that point, or even reverses from where it is at the moment from that. Right, well, have a look at gold. Gold's pretty much the same, similar pattern to the precious metals. All the metals have got some sort of relationship there, and once again, you can see the same sort of pattern here, but you can see quite a distance between the low here and the high here, so to speak, and the 38.2 retracement level for this as well from down here. If as such, would still bring us in at 1700 at the 38.2. It just depends on how you count these 5 waves up here, but this is a serious correction to the downside, so we need to take a look at some of the larger structures within here. So there is support at the 1700 here. Once again, there's a couple of ways to count this top here as well. The main point is that we just need to see how the market deals with the 1700. If the 1730 can find support, that's the top of group 1, subgroup 1, 10, 20 and 30, then that would be the first positive step there, and we'll be counting that in terms of an A wave down here, a B wave up there, and 5 waves for a C wave here in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 to this point. It can also be counted in a different manner coming down through here, which would bring us closer into the 1700 here, which we did look at yesterday as well, and this is how it would count to the downside here as such. So it'd still have a little bit further to go to the downside here. So yeah, just be careful about that. So any long side here, you would need that 1730 there as a tested support. So that would be the thing to look for there. The oil market's got more of a bearish connotation to it. This is the larger pattern through here on the daily. It's a large triangle pattern coming all the way through here, as you know, and we were looking for the ABC for the D wave up here, and now the A, the B, and the C for the E wave down through here. The E wave here would be the 61.8 retracement level from that point to that point there, so that's what we're looking for here. So yeah, a breaking of the 90 there. So if we just have a look at that, oh, that's moved through quite quickly since I've been here, but since this morning. So this pattern here, in one way or another, is corrective, because we've got an A and a B and a C here, that three-wave structure. That makes the rest of this it makes it the whole thing a corrective pattern, but with corrective patterns they can just expand on themselves. But it's important to understand that because it's corrective, that low will be eventually taken out as well. So we may see another retest of this trend line here of the 90 and the trend line through here before we see further downside. But the 86 here was sort of, this area down here is what we'd be looking at for that. Alrighty, let's have a look at currencies. Okay, the US dollar. The US dollar's in a corrective pattern at 80. It hasn't finished, and that's about it really. It is corrective, and once it is finished, then it will push to the downside, and the euro and the Australian dollar and so forth will push to the upside. The way we sort of figure it so far is that this is an A wave up to here, and then a B wave down to here, and a C wave that's moving up through here. This C wave up through here should be in 5 waves, and that's what we're counting at the moment. The 5-wave structure so far should push up a little bit higher through here. So when we're looking at that structure, we're looking at this on 20-minute chart now. So we have been counting this up through here, as you know, and I think this is the wave 4. There's probably a couple of ways to count this. I've just counted. This is quite simple to this point. The wave 1 here, the wave 2, and the wave 3 can be the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and then this is a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here for the third, the fourth here, which is a little bit small, and then we'll see a 5th wave to the upside. The other way to look at it is that you can see that the subgroup 2 here, the 79 to 72, is really the resistance there. When that becomes support there, then you're going to see weakness in the other in the other markets. So that's a real line in the sand there. While that is resistance there, then you'll see the strength in the other ones. But sort of this is the trend, and the trend is up. So the other currencies would be on the weaker side. So just bear that in mind there. So when we look at the euro, for instance, it's doing its corrective pattern, wave 4, across the 130, as you know, and we've just been tracking that through. We've just been tracking it through. So this it possibly could be finished, but we don't think so just yet. But if we drill down into this section through here, we're looking at this on the 2-hour chart here, this move coming up through here. We're counting this as 5 waves to the upside as being a positive structure, and that would be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave completed for wave 4, and then we'll see the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the wave 5 to come up through here, which would be a positive thing. But we don't think that well, it's just a little bit sort of tricky. Basically, if this market moves down through here and moves over the top of wave 1 here, then we've got a corrective pattern to the upside. Otherwise, yeah, so let's just sort of drill down into that section there a little bit. You can see that if you were going to go along here, which you could do off the midpoint here as support, It will probably test it again. Just wait for the opening to resettle. But if it does test support at the 50, the midpoint here, then you can put the stop under here and go for a long trade here and look for this high to be taken out through here. But if this 103.50 becomes the retested resistance, then we'll see further downside come in from that point. The other side to the coin too is that if you wanted a safer trade, then you'd wait for the 72 to become the support. And support is not just trading above like this here. The breakout's important, but the retest is more important, and that would keep you, as you can see, it would have kept you safe here, just the way it is. So the 72 of support would be a better trade, and then add on the 80 as such through there. Yeah, the Australian dollar as well. We're looking at this move coming down through here, which is it appears to be impulsive. So there will be support on this number here, the 72. This 72 would carry more weight because it's the 272. So as mentioned before, when you get 772 or 272 together, then they're just much stronger. They have stronger turning points in the market. So that is a really strong support through there, and you'll see that it also sits on this trend line through here as well. So that would sit there. So then it's just a matter of counting this structure to the downside here, which does seem to be impulsive, but there would be natural support at the 103, and also here, all through here as well. There's going to be support within here. So it's going to be a game of supply and demand, where the demand is here because of the old volume, and the supply would be coming down from the top. So in looking at this structure coming to the downside here, it does appear that there can be more coming down. So at this stage here, it would count as an ABC correction to the downside, in terms of instead of having that as a wave 1, that would be an A and a B, and then 5 waves down for the C wave here as completed here. So that's a possibility. So support, the way to trade these things is support on top of group 1, so the 103.30 there, support on that would give you the long trade from that point. Otherwise, we're looking for 5-wave structure down, which would be down for 1, back for 2, and then this is just the 3rd wave coming all the way down through to here in 5 waves, in terms of the 1, the 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, ABC for the 4th, and then down for the 5th here for the 3rd wave. So there would still be a 4th wave and a 5th wave to come through here, so down into the 72 to complete this. So just be mindful of that, and if support does come, I mean, you always have to trade what you see at the end of the day. The Elliott wave just helps us with some directions, and Elliott wave is not always, we're not always confident in a particular structure, but when we are, that's fine, and when we're not, we just take it with a pinch of salt. But at the end of the day, it's in terms of trade setup, you need that top of group 1 there as support, and that keeps you safe. Otherwise, the job of group 1 is to hold the price to the closest largest number, and in this case the 103, and that's what it will do there. And it's not appropriate to really trade in group 1 here. As you can see in here, the faster numbers come between the 8 and the 5 here, and the 3 and the 5. So that you'll see the numbers run quick between 5 and 8 and 3 and 5 in either direction. So anyway, just be aware of this thing here. So it's just perhaps got another 4th wave here, and this 4th wave can be complicated. It can just be a larger pattern of this one here, so in this space here, and the wave 4 normally pulls back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree, and that's the 1 lesser degree. Yeah, so good support down here. We just need to see this possibly finish here. If we're wrong and it moves up from here, then you really need that. Your first position would be on a solid support on 103.30 there, and then looking to add on top of the 50 at that point there. Alrighty, well, good morning and good luck.